They didn't know I was going to ask them to do that. That's why everyone was like, what D? Which anyway, so thank you for being here for Cello Choir. If you haven't been here before, welcome. This is an all ages, all abilities group that's invited to anyone to join who has basic understanding of first position on the cello, up to people that have been playing for their entire lives, most of their lives at least. So, and it's without audition, so anybody can come and be a part of Cello Choir. Every semester we do a concert, and this is our summer concert. Summer session is a shorter version of the full fall season, so we don't. So as you can see, the program's a little shorter. We just have 4 tunes this time, but we did do some different things this semester that we've never done before, that some people loved, and some people made them stretch outside of their comfort level a little bit on the cello, a little improvisation, and a little talking about music theory and learning about chords and kind of how to make an arrangement and how to pull off a piece and a performance. So we're going to showcase some of that work. We started out with this first piece with that sort of approach because this is what I would call kind of a loop piece, in the sense that it's the same 8 bars harmonically throughout the entire piece. The same chords just keep falling. But there's these other little parts that change. This first piece, of course, on your program is Last of the Mohicans. And I always like to say a little something about the pieces that are about to happen. Did you know this movie came out 26 years ago? Anyway, if you haven't seen it, it's based in 1757 around the French and Indian War in the Adirondacks mountain range, I guess you call it, hill range in New York City, or around New York, north of New York City. And initially, this is something I learned that was kind of fascinating. That piece is so symphonic in score and everything, but initially the whole thing was scored to electronics, and it was going to be like this electronic sound, electronic score. But back in those days, back in 1992, that was still a little early. So electronics actually took longer to write music for than scores did. So for a full symphony. So they backed out of that, and they hired another composer, and they wrote the score out completely for an 88-piece symphony orchestra with choir. So I found that kind of interesting. I couldn't imagine that piece with this like different electronic sound going on. And I think they did that because the piece that it's based around was off of a record that was made 2 years earlier by a Scottish singer-songwriter named Dougie MacLean. Anybody know Dougie MacLean? He's very famous in Scotland. His most famous tune is called Caledonia, which I actually have heard I checked it out today. But one of his tunes, The Gale, is what this piece is based around. And that is very electronic in sound, and when you hear it, if you do check it out, it's it's got this like very keyboardy electric sound. What else about this? So it took so long that the Trevor Jones, who's the first guy, the composer, he kind of said, I'm done with this. I'm at least that's how I read through how it worked out. He ran out of time. They had to hire another composer to get in to finish the tune, and then it was reused, this piece. And this is based on Promontory, which is one of the cuts from that movie, from that soundtrack. They reused this for a 2007 Nike television commercial, and they hired the same director to direct the Super Bowl commercial at that moment in time. So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, hope you enjoy Last Mohicans. We started this out with like a lead sheet, so everybody has learned the melody, and you'll see the melody get passed around. There's 2 main themes. One is what you could kind of call a jig. Da 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 da. It's in 3. So, and then there's another longer melody. This is the real passionate one. Da 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 da. And you can sing along if you do feel it inside. And let's get going. So yeah, like I said before, we did that once with just one sheet, and we had like these different parts, and having people play A and having people play B, and we kind of did it around the room. It turned out to be a bunch of questions, so I just ended up writing an arrangement and having everybody play their parts. But that's essentially how I did it, though, and so it was cool to like kind of do that all together. This next piece is a rebirthed arrangement that has had some changes in it since the last time that we did it, which is, I think, about 3 years ago. This is from the movie of the same name, Skyfall. And that movie, 2012 is when this came out. That was on the 50th year anniversary of the first Bond movie. Does anybody know the first Bond movie, what it was called? Figured y'all know that. So some people that saw it in the theaters maybe here. Huh?
Is it from Russia with Love?
Actually, too young to see.
Oh, nice. So that was Dr. No. Dr. No was the first James Bond movie to come out. A little trivia. I had some reason I like Bond trivia. I don't know. It just goes together. So this is of course written by Adele. She was really hesitant to actually to pull this off. She had just come out with her record 21. She had a record, I believe, 18 and then 21, and those are her ages. So when that first came out, she was probably 22 when she was asked to write this super, to write a Bond theme melody is kind of like a mainstream super, she was a little nervous. She said, I just write music about myself, but they said, don't worry, just write this song about yourself and just call it Skyfall and it'll work out. And so the production of this tune actually took 18 months, but she says that the first draft of it was written in about 10 minutes. Entertainment Weekly wrote that there's finally a great James Bond theme. The song won the Academy Award for Best Original Song, which had been the first Bond theme to receive an Academy Award nomination since 1982, which was for Your Eyes Only. And anyways, it was really fun. Our Kyle was here acting as Adele. He was super excited to play the Adele part, but he's not. He went off to Florida for he went off to Florida for a thing. He had to drop out of cello choir. So I am playing Adele today. So the part of Adele.
He is not with us. Would have
He's
given the wrong.
I know, right? He's not with us. Things are coming out weird. All right, here's Skyfall. this tune, Dane is joining us. He's been in cello choir for a long, long time. He's just jumping in today, and he told me last time he played this next piece was in the 7th grade. So actually that's kind of when I learned about it too. I was in high school and I saw there's a Diamonds commercial. This is from the Diamonds commercial, if you can think back to those moments. So this guy that wrote this, Carl Jenkins, he is a Welsh composer. He wrote this piece in 1995. One of his most famous pieces, I meant to listen to it, it's called The Armed Man. And and Marty, you're telling me this, there's a 2 cellos version of a moment of that whole piece, right?
One of the movements, yeah.
One of the movements of Benedictus?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
It is impressing many people. There was a worldwide poll of listeners classical music to rank the top pieces, and it came in 8th with Bach and Beethoven.
Really?
Benedictus is pretty
cool.
special.
Well, I recommend checking that out. So this tune it's like a concerto grosso sort of style of song kind of piece. It's written in 1995, but it harkens back to the age of Vivaldi, Albinoni, and the piece is called Palladio, and it's named after a architect of kind of that Renaissance era, classical Renaissance era, 1500s, kind of in that range. The story of it, though, is he wrote, I guess, 8 measures for this Diamonds theme, and then everybody, this is before the internet, I guess, I don't know where you asked, like, where is that Diamonds piece? You didn't type it in anywhere, I guess I don't know what you did. You called your mom or something and said...
He called the ad agency.
Yeah, so
music is
what
amazing.
What is that music? I love it. And so he then wrote the first movement that's based around this theme that you'll hear, and then there's a second movement and a third movement that are not played very often, and I don't even think they have a YouTube. There's something I read about it, and I wrote this down, so I'm saying find it real quick. Just in the same style that like there's most first movements are really well known, like Vivaldi's Spring. You know, everybody knows that. Dun, 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 dun. There's 11 other movements of that piece. I think there's only 3 movements in each of those. And they're lesser known, of course, but everybody just clings to that. And nobody thinks that Pachelbel wrote anything other than Pachelbel canon, okay? So, but there's 2 other movements of this that I could not. I think what they said online is that it's pulled from the internet. Like YouTube won't let you put up a recording of it. This piece they'll let you put up a recording of it. So we're recording it right now. So I hope it's okay. Anyway, it's just really fun to play. It's one of those tunes that's really surprising that it was only written in 1995, because you'll see it. It sounds very, very Baroque style. So enjoy. nice thing with silhouettes and all that. All right, the very last tune we are going to do, and this is one we're going to do all off of the same piece of music. Let me see if I can show it to you. So this is it. This is what everybody has on their page. This is called a lead sheet, which is a lot of people play, like you've maybe heard of fake books or things like that. So it's chords and melody. Now these melodies can be played in different octaves. These chords can be played in different ways. And so we just did a whole, like, how are we going to do this together, guys? And came up with different ways to think about it. We learned all about chords and playing it. So everybody's playing off the same thing. And this is an arrangement that kind of everybody has to have in their head. And everybody has to know what's going on. This song, Believer, by the band Imagine Dragons. I always thought the name was a little weird. I'll kind of start there. I didn't know this until Marty pointed it out as well, but this and as well all over the internet. But it's an anagram. Imagine Dragons. At least it was said to be an anagram. Imagine Dragons is one of the best, the 9th best-selling artist of 2017. That's when they kind of emerged. And some of the anagrams that have been proposed are this, and I'll just name these off and we'll play the song. But this band could have been called Anger is in Drama. It could have been called Go Sing in a Dream. I really like that one, actually. Ignoring Mad Sea. A Dim Orange Sign. Which is pretty lame. Indigo Managers. A Rigid Mean Song. A Dream Gig No Sin. Ragged Insomnia. A Mansion Digger. Adorning Images. Or Red Smog in Again. Anyway, just kind of thought it was fun. Thought we might sit down and do my own anagrams, see if I can figure it out. You all know the song, and if you don't know that you know it yet, because it's everywhere, it's been everywhere. So we have 2 different groups. Evan, Maggie, and Bianca are the first group to play the melody, and Lucas, Regina, and Sean, second group, okay? Improvs, right? Oh, and we're going to do some little light improvs. Take as long as you want. Take longer than you want, All right, well, thank you all for coming, and spread the word. It's going to be a killer concert next semester too. We've got some nice selections that are all made up by whoever's in the band. So these are all things that people chose that they want to do. So we're going to do them, darn it. And again, thanks for coming and showing up. And I hope you enjoyed it. Oh,
Something for Tony.
Oh.
He promised us this summer is going to be really easy. We had stuff. We showed up. There was 8 pieces. 5 of them we had to write over parts. Remember our triad?
And that's true. And that's true.
It was like what? But anyway, we learned a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you guys too. You're a support team, so thank you as well. So, anyway, see you next time around. Turn the house music up. Some of you said, turn the house music up. Like, little jam box or something. Nice job. Yeah. Oh, really? That sounds good when you're up here. Cool. Yeah, I had a few good ones. So, yeah. Okay, good. You're gonna love it. It's been really fun, actually. Stretching everybody on. Learned a lot of different stuff. I mean, we learned so much that we could only do like 1 or 2 songs. Oh, sorry. Oh, no, it's for
I don't feel that.
Agitation in the back? Oh, there's a lot. We barely noticed. No. So come to dinner? School night. It is a school night. It's like got a heavy load this semester. In 21 hours or something. It is hot. I don't think we ever take summer all the way up to the beginning of it.